It has been 11 years since the last Rayman game. I want you to think about that. I want that to really sink in. What was your life like 11 years ago? I mean, a lot changes in 11 years. That is a lot of time to pass with no game in one of the best platforming IPs out there. Yeah, I know that is quite a bold statement, but man, I have to tell you, for the first time ever, I recently played through Rayman Origins and then Rayman Legends I just finished a little bit ago. If you've seen some of my other videos, you actually have seen that gameplay of me actually playing it for the first time. I love it. Yeah, Origins came out in 2011 and Legends came out in 2013. That was basically the sequel to it. And it's crazy how those two games were absolute bangers. It was just loved by everyone who played it. I think the sales were pretty decent as well over time. And yet for some reason that IP just has gone cold in the past 11 years. I really don't know why. Rayman did make an appearance in the, I think this came out a couple years ago, Mario plus Rabbids. Yeah, Sparks of Hope, I'm seeing it now. Actually, that came out like exactly 2 years ago. But that wasn't an official Rayman game. I mean, that was just a cameo. I don't even think he's really had any cameos besides that in like the past 11 years. I mean, not even Super Smash Bros., right? I think he's probably one of the most highly requested characters in Super Smash. But anyway, I'm kind of rambling. Point is, you get it. Rayman is awesome. People love Rayman. It is definitely one of the best platforming games out there. And we haven't gotten anything. And yeah, a lot has changed in the past 11 years, and even really in the past 11 months for Ubisoft. Things have not been going well for them. We've had everything with Assassin's Creed, the new Star Wars game. Their stock has gone down. A lot of rumors have been swirling about if they're going to go private. So this is actually an absolute W for them, a sort of glimmer of light in an otherwise darkness that they seem to have found themselves in recently. So this all began about a day or two ago when Insider Gaming reported that their sources had told them that Ubisoft was officially starting kind of the initial phase of working on a new Rayman game. Now, it looks like this report had stated that it was allegedly going to be some sort of a remake of a Rayman game. I'm not sure exactly which Rayman game that would be. But then fast forward a day or two later, so today, Kotaku actually got confirmation. I would assume this was from one of their staff reaching out to Ubisoft and trying to see if this was actually true or not. And usually things don't work out this way. Usually a gaming representative doesn't just directly respond and give like a straightforward answer, but yeah, that's exactly what they did. They actually wrote back to Kotaku and said that they have began the, quote, exploration phase on the Rayman brand. They also said, quote, the project is still in its early stages and we will share more details later. Now, the only other piece of information they provided is that this whole project, this exploration phase, is being led by two Ubisoft studios, and this is Ubisoft Montpellier and Ubisoft Milan. Apologies if I'm not pronouncing that correctly, but Montpellier is a city in France, and Milan is a city in Italy. That's kind of how Ubisoft does their studios. They just name it, the name of the city that the studio is in. Now, Ubisoft Montpellier, it should be noted, they actually were the ones that developed Rayman Origins and Rayman Legends. So especially if we have the same people working on this new Rayman project, that is absolutely a great sign. It has been 11 years though, so I mean, I'm sure there are a lot of new faces in Ubisoft Montpellier. Ubisoft Milan though, it looks like the only Rayman project that all they've worked on was that recent game I talked about, Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope. Now, it should be noted that though this was not addressed in this statement to Kotaku, Insider Gaming had reported, per that rumor from a few days ago, that this Rayman project was being worked on from the team that was behind the recent Prince of Persia game, The Lost Crown. That came out about 9 months ago. I believe it generally did not get the best sales, or at least it didn't meet Ubisoft's alleged expectations. And that game was specifically developed by Ubisoft Montpellier, so again, yeah, that would kind of make sense from what we know now from that Kotaku statement. So overall, I think this is great news. It is kind of funny how I just recently finished using that gameplay footage of my first playthrough of Rayman Legends. Now you're just seeing me playing Banjo-Kazooie, but funny enough, with that, I have to kind of think. Rayman Origins and Rayman Legends, those are 2D games, but if you go back into Rayman's past, kind of like on the PlayStation 2 and PlayStation 1 and N64, there were, I remember anyway, the 3D Rayman games. People definitely remember Rayman as the 3D platformer, back then. So especially if this project actually is some sort of a remake, I have to wonder if if it's going to be a remake of, something like Rayman 2 The Great Escape, or even if it's not a remake, is this going to be a 2D game or a 3D game? I don't know, but either way, I am very excited to hear that Rayman is officially confirmed to be returning.